Well, this guy, very exciting too. David Ridgway, he's been waiting a while. Let's get him in here. The Hall of Famer. Let's get him in. The Robo-Kicker. Looking great as always. How you doing, Ridge?
Rod, thank you. I'm doing good. Yourself?
I'm always excited to talk to you. How's your summer going, man? How are things?
It's going good. It's been, boy, I tell you what, it's been warm down here. I understand Canada's been getting some warm weather, but it has been exceptionally warm where we are.
Good. Well, global warming, climate change, apparently it's a thing. I just wonder in January if that's a thing at all. Let me ask you this. As a Canadian Football Hall of Famer, are you following what's going on in the CFL? And does the NFL have your attention with training camps opening across the land too?
Well, it's kind of interesting because where we live, we're right in between the Cincinnati Bengals and the Indianapolis Colts. So, both teams, and they talk about Joe Burrow a lot around here. And so, yeah, it's certainly topical, but my personal favorite, I love the Canadian Football League still, and I still follow it. And it's, I'm thrilled the way the guys are doing this year. I think coming out of the gates 5-1 is fantastic, and obviously a credit to Coach Mace.
By the way, I should preface this by saying if anybody has questions for the great David Ridgway, 902-518-3033, or on the YouTube feed as well, you can reach us there. Because I'll hog it all up on my own. I'm wondering, obviously there's a kickers union. I don't think you ever expire from that. Were you following the what? There must be.
I'm not going to lie. I mean, and I realize that's sort of a tongue-in-cheek thing. But no formal kickers union. But I tell you what, when I came into the league and there were guys like Don Sweet and Bernie Ruoff, Louis, obviously out in Vancouver, Dave Cutler. I mean, when I came in, man, there were some serious icons in the kicking game.
Yeah, and you know what? There really isn't now, and that's kind of what I wanted to get into with you. I just wondered if you saw the furor at the start of this season. Stop me if you have, but the CFL put these microchips in the footballs, and the first two games, the guys were way off, and they complained so much that the league got rid of the microchipped footballs. What did you think of that scenario?
Yeah, I did read about it. And, obviously having not kicked a ball that was chipped back in our day, we were lucky if we got a ball that was fully inflated. But again, that's pretty much tongue in cheek. I understand it has potential. It depends on how big it is, Rod, whether it's going to affect the flight. It would have been a nice excuse on some of the years where I didn't have a particularly strong year. You say, hey, there was a chipped ball just used in Saskatchewan with the wind.
Well, I haven't kicked him either, man. To me, it sounded like a whole bunch of whining, but the league went along with it and then turned around and fined all those kickers the next week for complaining publicly. But that's CFL stuff. I wondered what you thought about when they narrowed the hash marks a couple years ago.
Yeah, did they are they now in line with the goalposts or halfway to being in line like they are down here?
I think they got a ways to go to get in line with the goalposts. But from what I read, I'm not a kicking aficionado. I leave that to you and my kicker buddies. But I don't think the stats have changed a whole lot. I don't really remember what the reason to do that was in the first place.
Yeah, I think, down here it's really interesting because they pretty much run in line from one goalpost to the other goalpost at the other end of the field. It used to be when you got into a situation with short field goals, particularly short field goals, where we would take a delay of game penalty just to back it up to give you a better angle at trying to put the ball through the uprights. But, no matter where they are, you got to go kick the ball, and hopefully it'll go through more so than it misses, certainly, or else you're not going to be employed very long.
Jeff, the Stamps fan, writes in, he says, did Dave say he preferred underinflated balls? I think he got that wrong. You want them fully inflated. You're not like Tom Brady on a cold day.
That would be my preference. I mean, I don't want you to think that, and hey, I am a Patriots fan, and I was a big fan of Tom Brady's when he was still playing. I guess if you're talking, a minimal deflation, of course, Tommy, he destroyed his phone and all that kind of stuff and got fined $1 gajillion. But, in the game when that was discovered, the underinflated ball, I think that they were up 40 points at the half in that game against the Colts when it became a topical issue. But no, it was, I guess I'm just kidding around. They need to be the right amount of pressure.
But your preference is to be, like Brady, less inflated. That's just what we're trying to clarify.
No, they need to be the proper inflation.
Fully. Okay.
They need to be fully inflated.
So, you was talking about the icons in the game. I was thinking about Osbaldiston the other day. Like Boris Beatty, if you're following this, Dave, cost Edmonton the game last week. He couldn't keep his kickoff in bounds. The guy's been in the league 10 years. Like, how does a veteran kicker make that mistake? And why are there no Ridgways and Osbaldistons and, for that matter, Bob Camerons and these guys, do you think, anymore?
I got to tell you, that kid in Calgary, Rene, is it Paredes?
Paredes.
He's
Paredes,
pretty good.
I think.
He is an awful good kicker right there. But it's and you know what? The kid in Saskatchewan right now is fantastic. He's had a kind of a slow start to the year, but I really think he's a good kicker. So it's
sorry.
No, you're fine. But you know what? I loved hearing you talk about Ozzy. I hope that he's got things under control with his weight or his illness. I know that he had dropped a tremendous amount of weight when I heard that he was, horribly sick a few years back. I tried to get in touch with him through the Hamilton Spectator, and unfortunately, either the message didn't reach him or he just didn't, at that time didn't care to get back in touch. But Ozzy was one of the guys,
Oh, yeah. He, from what I understand, he's fine. I think he was back doing a little work with the Ticats, which would be fantastic. But let me just, David, we're talking, listen, I'll end it on this because we're running out of time. I remember the last time I was with you and interviewed you. This popped into my head today because Calgary's announced they're starting construction of a new hockey arena on Monday. And I remember interviewing you in the new football stadium in Saskatchewan at halftime, and you were just like, that thing never gets old, does it? It does not get old, that place, Mosaic Stadium.
No, and, I understand because Craig Reynolds and Jeremy O'Day were, they were kind enough when we were up there for the opening of the stadium to give us an in-depth tour and explain how it was designed and the amount of visits they had to some of the best stadiums in North America. But honestly, in Saskatchewan there and in Regina, you have one of the most, it's beautiful. It kind of took my breath away, and every one of the old guys that I've talked to were extremely jealous. Now, that is not saying that we didn't love Taylor Field. We did love Taylor Field before it became Mosaic and so on. But you've got a palace there, and the people of Saskatchewan should be proud of that. Now, Winnipeg's is nice too. So it's a real treat to that, and obviously a compliment to the fans of the Rough Riders, which I think they're going to start coming back. That team's not going to be it's going to be a pretty good football team this year.
Should be a good one Friday night, and I'm interested to see how many go. But let me just ask you this, because that's Dave and Regina's wind design. There's that cut out of the one northeast corner to help with wind. What did you do on the day of the game with the Riders? Or if at all, because Ken Miller, our coach, used to call the airport. Don Matthews did too, to get the exact weather hour by hour. How did you, because it was affected what you did so much, how did you deal with it?
Yeah, I think, it's funny because every coach that I played for, and I played for a handful, that's for sure. But the first coach I ever dealt with there was Joe Faragelli, who I absolutely loved as a person, and pretty much everybody that played for Joe. And that's why they called him Papa Joe.
Papa Joe?
So he used to talk. Yeah, he used to talk to me about the weather before the game, and we're going to do this, and what do you think of this? And what you always ask the kicker what his range is. But I'll tell you, and it's kind of a funny story to finish on. Papa Joe came to me and he said, "Listen, the best advice I can give you is when the wind is blowing this way, don't stand behind me when I'm chewing tobacco." Because he used to chew tobacco. You'd always have a chaw, and he said, and if you stand downwind, he said, I'll apologize now if it hits you.
You're going to catch it. Yeah. All right, David, you don't age. Thanks for the time, man. Enjoy the ball. Have a great summer.
Roddy, take care. It's a pleasure.
The Robo Kicker, David Ridgway.